This is kind of ridiculous, but you could compliment someone and say, hey, you look nice today. And if you're present to today, you'll likely say, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you're holding on to a past narrative, though, you might respond with, what, I didn't look good yesterday?
This idea of creating a space, because I am a gatherer, I'm a villager, and everyone needs a village, even if they don't know it, and they want a village, even if they won't say it. I'm happy to be the villager. I want to embrace that and be the villager.
Let's say we've got a new listener, and they've just heard you say for the first time, the past doesn't exist. What the heck do you mean by that?
The past happened, past tense, right? It's past. Today, the past no longer exists. It's gone. Welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast. Leadership is a choice. Join me, Matt, and my co-hosts Drew and Tate each episode as we break down how to lead powerfully in your family, team, and organization.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Leader Podcast. Again, it's me and Matt today. Matt and I could hear my English teacher correcting me in my head. And excited to, we're going to do more of these. We're going to do more of the conversations about what's important to us, what's relevant to us, what are the topics on our mind, especially when it comes to leadership. And Matt started sharing some really good stuff. And I said, hey, stop, we got to start recording because I don't want the listener to miss out on any of what Matt was just talking to me about. And so to kind of like preface this, have you ever felt like you've jumped around a lot? Or have you ever felt like, man, I don't know if I'm on the path I'm supposed to be on in my life? Am I doing what I'm supposed to? Like, I received this guidance or this instruction, or I felt God call me to something earlier, and now I'm feeling called to something else. Like, am I just like being spun in circles? Am I going the right way? Or, does your past make you feel like, hey, because I've done this, I can't do something else? Anyways, we're going to dive into those today. Matt was talking about this idea of, is it God's plan for you or God's plan for all of it? Is that how you said it?
Yeah. So I wish I knew who. I watched a video, a short clip about this the other day, and it just was really hit me. I'm like, yeah, I love the way that that's articulated. I wish I knew who it was so I could give him credit. So I heard this from someone else recently, and now I've been thinking about it. And it was just the distinction, like that there's a difference between like this idea or this belief that like God has a plan for me and God has a plan for all of it. Like God's plan is big enough for all of it, right? Those are two different things. And the first one, right? Like God has a plan for me can almost become somewhat limiting in the sense that it's like, if we're really worried about, is there like this one right way or this one right path or this one right decision, or it almost makes it feel like God has like a pre-scripted plan for our lives and we're not the ones that get to decide what it's like. And that's just simply not true. So I think it's useful to recognize that. And the second one is really beautiful and powerful, which is like God has a plan for all of it, all of my experience, all of my quote unquote mistakes or failures, all of my past. There's a plan to encompass all of it and make it all and have it all work still together for our good, which is a really beautiful thing to believe and to hold on to. So I've been thinking a lot about that. And how this relates to leadership is, again, through self-leadership, that like leaders, part of being a leader is like taking responsibility for you and your life and your path, and also creating like the future, whatever that is for you and the people you want to impact as a leader. And it can be really challenging, kind of like you were mentioning, Drew, that like our past can become what we use to envision or proceed to the future. And the reason why that's not very effective or powerful is that then we just end up experiencing like an almost recycled past. I've heard it called that as well. Like we build a future that's just a recycled past. And again, not only is that not really fun or powerful, it's also not the purpose of the past. Like the past doesn't actually exist anymore, and we can use it to learn from. So that's how I want to frame that, is that the past are like pieces that we can utilize to as a part of creating the future. However, we want to go to the future and create from the future instead of just recycling our past experiences.
Okay, let's say we've got a new listener, Matt, and they've just heard you say for the first time the past doesn't exist. What
Yeah.
the heck do you mean by that? Like, how does the past not exist? I ate breakfast yesterday. What are you talking about? That happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too crazy here. And it's the past happened, past tense, right? It's past. So it did exist. And that's where like there's value in it, because there's an experience that you had and there's learning to be had from the past. However, in the current moment, in the present moment of today, the past no longer exists. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's not now. And that's what I'm saying, is that if we're not careful, we actually keep using the past to determine our current moment. Whereas we can let go of it to a large degree because it doesn't exist anymore. Like, it's not actually here with us anymore. We are the ones that keep reusing it to bring it to the present moment. However, it doesn't exist. Like, the past doesn't exist anymore.
Your life will change when you realize the only thing that exists is what's in front of me right now.
Yeah, it's the present moment.
And like all you have is what's here right now. And we could go, that's not the
Yeah.
road we're gonna go down today. And I just thought I'd bring that up in case that's a new way of looking at things. But Matt, talk about, okay, so, and I think I can relate to some of what you've shared with me before, but talk about why you want to have a conversation around this topic, why it's important to look at the lens of your past and how there's ways you can do it that can actually limit you, hinder you, fill you full of shame and regret, versus use it as a way to empower what you do right now and what you create for your future. I remember, and I'll just share one brief example. I've been in sales for a long time, but I've had multiple sales jobs, and there've been times where I've had a story in my mind that, man, I'm hesitant to tell my family what I do because I think I'm going to sell them another thing.
Yeah.
And that's the narrative that has sometimes existed in my head because of my past and because I haven't just sold for one company. I also think we're kind of out of the age of you're going to get a job and work somewhere 20, 30 years. That's just
pretty
not
much
reality anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes that older generation, you hear some of that from them. Oh, I remember a old client telling me, "Oh, you changed jobs again. Like, are you just gonna are you just gonna change from this thing again too in a couple of years, and I'm not gonna see you ever again?" And yes, that happened.
Yeah.
His fear was right, and I've recognized that sometimes that lens of my past has sometimes limited or affected how I show up.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like, I mean, part of this is like how we choose to label or assign meaning to an experience. Okay. So real quick, that's what a belief is. I mean, that's like the subconscious operations of you are meanings you've assigned to past experience. Like that's how I could go have an experience in 10 minutes. When I walk out of here, something happens. My perception of it, my reception of it, my experience of it is all determined by the meanings I've assigned to past experiences. And those are beliefs, conscious or subconscious. There are things that exist in my mind and my wiring. And so that's important to recognize. And so so that's why there's power in the past. Like, there's usefulness in learning from it and understanding it. However, like, we get to decide what it's labeled as. And so to your point, like, we can either have this story that like these past experiences were hard, were bad, were happened to me, were unfair, were failures, were held me back, set me back, like all those things. If I want to believe that, that's a choice to believe those things about the past. And so what I want to share today is something I've been working on to hold on to in my mind and in my belief, and assign a meaning to the past that's actually a useful meaning, which is everything I've gone through is a can be culminated in a current project and in the current moment for my good and for what I want to create. And this is where it goes back to like, that's God has a plan for it all, that it all is good and it all happened and it all can be used to build upon. And that's exciting. That helps me stay in the present moment with excitement and enthusiasm, and also recognizing like, to some degree, I'm equipped. I've learned from these past experiences that, again, I have assigned in the past at times and am working not to, and the world would probably assign as failure, or
Yeah.
something not working out, or another change, another turn,
Yeah.
another
Here he
new
goes
thing,
again.
right? So
Yeah.
if that, again, not all of you are as squirrely as me, for sure. So like, I have a stack, I mean, and I have met people with a bigger stack of business cards than me, right? And so again, all that's relative. It doesn't really matter. And this is real for all of us, that we perceive the past as like these failures, these burdens, these setbacks that if we allow them, they'll hold us back from going to create from the future. And I've had this realization recently with this, what I'm working on now, and this is what I want right now. What I'm building right now feels like that to me. It feels like a culmination. So obviously, like, we have this podcast. I work with teams and businesses out in the world around their culture and developing culture and leadership, and that's important to me, like helping people understand who they are as an individual and as a team. And I also love to gather people. It's one of the things that has hit me more in the last probably year or so, as I've taken more action and intentionally created opportunities to gather people. It's like, well, not only do I enjoy this, like, I'm pretty good at this and I love it. It's not something that I feel like I have to do. It's something that I choose to do and want to do. And so the current project that I'm working on is a life and work aligned space for entrepreneurs and people who want to be engaged, want to be leaders, want to be growing their business, their practice, their whatever it is, as well as their physical and spiritual well-being. And so this is going to be a physical location, which is important to me because I've learned that I don't do well sitting in my basement, and I want to be with people and I want to gather people, and I thrive when I'm gathering people, and I can create cool opportunities when I gather people. So this is going to be a physical location where there's office space and workspace for the people who are members of this location. There's a cool kitchen where we share meals together frequently, and where there's a freezer full of wholesome food and a fridge full of wholesome food that can be purchased by the members, and like, they can start to elevate the way they're eating, um and things like that, right? And there's this whole, and then there's a gym, and there's a recovery, there's sauna, there's cold plunge, there's a place to go work on yourself spiritually and physically and mentally as well, in addition to your business or whatever it is that you're doing in the business world. And there's this whole identity around the word build. That's the name of this location, it's build. And that's who we are, and that's what we do here. We build ourselves, we build leaders, we build business, we build our families, we build faith, we build relationships, we build muscle and strength, and we build our network. And again, this is really exciting for me. And when I think about this, even over the last couple of weeks, as we've been taking action on it and making real progress, it sneaks in sometimes where it's like, there you go again, Matt, you're just doing something new, right? And in reality, and that's what I'm sharing with you, is that I'm choosing to see this as, and it really is. I mean, Drew was telling me that before we hit record. He's like, well, just so you know, you're not tricking yourself. Like, it actually seems like that to me too, which is like, this is a cool culmination of my past experience and the things that have prepared me to be able to provide something like this. And so I'm using the past as useful evidence that, hey, I can do this. I'm equipped to do this. And I'm going to the future with my vision to create what I can see in the future that doesn't exist right now, because this space doesn't exist. I've never seen it exactly like this. It certainly doesn't exist here. I've never created it before, and I'm going to the future to create it. And that is serving me to choose to believe that my past experiences are serving me in this, and that this is a culmination of many of them, is much more useful to me than believing that my other things have failed in the past and I'm trying something new again. And so that's my example, and you can do the same thing. You can go to the past and find value and wisdom and learning, and you can also go to the future and create what you want there using a lot of what you've learned from the past and what you've been prepared for from the past.
Matt, have you looked up what culmination, how it's defined?
No, because I just started using this word today. In fact, I was telling you, like, I sent, because I was talking about this with someone this morning, and the importance of having this conversation with my wife about this, about how, hey, let's view this together as this, that this is not a new thing. It's not a change. It's not a pivot. It's truly just, let's stack up the things that we're passionate about, that we feel called to do. All of it, the podcast, the coaching and consulting, the gathering, the speaking and events, into one thing. And so we're doing that tonight. That was the action I took, is I texted Kelsey and said, hey, let's, at 9:00, we're going to meet tonight. We're going to talk about the culmination of our past and how we're going to use that as a stepping stone to create from the future. So yeah, tell me about this word culmination.
I looked up the definition while you're talking, because one, culmination is a big word for me. It's not one I use in my everyday vocabulary, and thought, okay, I wonder what that, like, I know what the word means, but I wonder what the actual definition is. According to Oxford Languages, the highest or climatic point of something, especially as attained after a long time. And the origin of the word culmination originated in the 1630s from the French culmination and late Latin culminare, meaning to top or to crown, ultimately tracing back to the Latin culmen, top, peak, or summit. It was first used in English in 1633. So I just think that's interesting. Hear you talk about that, and like, think about your own life. Like, what if everything in your past is just bringing you to the highest point or the climatic point of something, and that can only happen over a period of time? Like, maybe Matt, this idea and what you're creating, like, could that even happen without all of those
yeah, likely
things
not.
that have happened, right? Yeah. And so if you're listening, and if you're thinking and you're holding on to some story about your past, like you hear us talk about on this podcast all the time, you have a choice. Like, you have a choice. You have a choice to lead. You have a choice to lead yourself. You have a choice to decide what the story you're telling yourself is. In fact, the funny thing you talked was in my mind a few minutes ago as you were talking. I thought about, I had a really good friend who talked about just being offended, and how, like, anyone can, like, choose to be offended. And he would always share the example, and this is kind of ridiculous, but you could compliment someone and say, hey, you look nice today. And if you're present to today, you'll likely say, oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you're holding on to a past narrative, though, you might respond with, what, I didn't look good yesterday?
Yeah. Right.
Like, you can choose to be offended, and you can do the same thing with your past. You can take your past, and because of feelings or stories you've told yourself, something good comes into your life, and you just crap all over it, because there's probably a better word I could have used, Matt, but but you just tear it apart because, well, this is my past. Like, this is how it's always gone. Like, like, that's not me, because, or I'm going to get upset about this because here's the story going on in my life.
Yeah. And that's like versus what this word is saying, which you can crown it. I love that. That's cool. Like, you can crown that experience with, this serves me. This is useful to me. And just another thought on, like, this idea of culmination. because we also talk a lot on the show that like leadership's a journey with no top, no culmination. And so, however, that's true. Like, I mean, if you look at our logo, even I feel like on the left side of the logo, when you're looking at it, like that could be a culmination. But then if you look, you immediately can start going down, up, down, up, down, up, and back up again. And
our logo is actually two mountains. It's a
yeah,
mountain behind another mountain, like peaks, right?
yeah. So that's like, and that's life. Like, there's going to be a moment where you're able to culminate or have this like crowning of something as you create, and then you're going to go through the journey of it not feeling like a culmination, and you can continue to do that. However, here's the other thing though. Like, when you choose to be a leader and live every day intentionally and with the understanding and belief that you have a choice, then every day can actually be that, right? Every day can be a culmination. Every day can be a crowning of my past experience, and it can feel like, yeah, like I'm at the quote unquote top today because I'm choosing to use my past experiences for good, for creation, to create value. And
Well,
and yeah, you're going to experience the other side where it doesn't feel like there's much, of a top. It feels like you're going down, and that's the joy, is climbing back up to the top. So
yeah, and how powerful is that idea? Like, you could take your past and choose today is the top or the
yeah,
culmination
that's what I'm
of
saying. Every
everything
day you
that's happened in
choose
my life.
that. Yeah,
And it doesn't mean you've reached the top in all areas of your life, but
yeah. There's always
today
another
is
top.
the culmination. Yeah, is the top of where you've been, and
Yes.
you can choose to take all of that and use it in a way that's powerful and can help shape what you do next. Or
Yeah.
you can say, I'm in a valley of misery and woe because of my past.
Yeah. That's so good. Look, today, we say today's the day all the time. Today's the day, and every day can be you choosing to see your past as to see today as a culmination of all the things you've been through, right? Going back to like God has a plan for it all. Like, it's all can serve you. I mean, back to your point earlier, Drew, you said there may even be the truth that you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now if it wasn't for all those things. And I think that that is wholly true. Like, there's a lot of truth to that. The people I've met, the people that have influenced me, the things that I've learned, the challenging things, the suffering, the trials that have you look at things different, that have you stretch and get uncomfortable, those are all part of it. And yeah, every day can be a culmination of all of them as you journey in your leadership.
Yep. No, so good. Okay, Matt. So like talk a little bit more the culmination of what you're creating. Like, this
Yeah.
is a cool networking space with a gym, like, and I can work there. Like,
Yeah, it's one of the
for the person hearing this idea for the first time, like, explain a little more, like, what this is and why are you so excited about it?
yeah. It's one of the things that's like sometimes feels, again, I choose not to internalize it this way, and sometimes it feels like being a visionary is a little bit of a curse because I can see things but I can't talk, like I don't know how to talk about them in a way that someone else can see it always. Like, and I
You're
work on
limited
that.
by your language.
Yeah. The English
It's an
language is
inside joke, but
yeah. And that's all okay, right? It's all a part of me learning how to articulate a vision in a way that people can feel it and experience it, more than just the words describing it. So the vision is, there's a few things that I'm consistently reminded of and frankly saddened by or think are unnecessary. And one of those is that many people hate what they do every day.
yeah.
That's just not okay with me. It doesn't make sense to me why that is. And again, that goes back to like, we have a choice. And again, we're very big proponents of like, you choose. So that's part of it. And I also, being an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur or an entrepreneur at times when I worked for other people, it can sometimes feel like you are literally crazy because when you look around, most of the other people around you are not experiencing the same things as you. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a steady job or 9 to 5, whatever they call it. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's different. And so I see many entrepreneurs willing to take a stand for what they want, willing to go out on a limb, and then they experience a real sense of isolation, doubt, fear, limitation. These are all very real things. Again, we all experience, and in entrepreneurship, it's very directly related to your business and to your bank account. So, um, those are real things that people deal with. And then I'm a man, and I see it in men in particular, right? Because in general, men are trying to provide for their families and create an income and make a good life for their family and support a family that way. Obviously, many women do too. I'm not one, so I don't have that experience. And that can feel heavy, and it can feel lonely, and it can feel there can be a lot of shame around that about like, well, I'm not doing enough, and I need to be better. And there's also a lot of burnout that can happen when we're on that path of just like working, and we want to make it work, and we're putting in the effort, and we can start to neglect our family and our relationships, and we can start to neglect our health. And I mean, I remember this was me. I was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm working 18 hours a day and not really eating very much. And my little kids don't really see me a whole lot, and not healthy, right? Enjoying the work and like the journey, and just neglecting things that are important to me. So this idea of creating a space, because I am a gatherer, I'm a villager, and everyone needs a village even if they don't know it, and they want a village even if they won't say it. I'm happy to be the villager. I want to embrace that and be the villager. So gathering people to a place where there's a shared understanding of identity and values, there's a community and a deeper relationship. It's not just a workspace or like a coffee shop vibe. It's like very intentionally created. And the the synergy that's created, I don't love that word, like everyone uses it on LinkedIn, is real, right? I mean, there's people in the building who are A, dealing with similar issues that could help you or relate to you, and B, they also provide solutions to some of the things that you need. So there's like a real sense of like, I can trust people here, and we can work together to build business. And we're also going to do life together. We're going to watch
Matt,
March Madness.
I'm gonna interrupt you because I feel like Michael Scott, and I had this idea, and I've been wanting to shout it out for like
Okay.
2 minutes. So to our listener, if you've heard of a shared workspace, that's kind of where this concept comes from, right? Matt, it's like you're an entrepreneur, you're not ready to buy your own building. You can go rent a space monthly, weekly,
Yeah. Shared
hourly
amenities. There's conference rooms you
to
can use.
share business with, and maybe even share, like collaborate with other businesses and business owners. The idea that came to my mind is like, oh, Matt's creating a life space. Like this isn't just
Yeah.
work. It's like, I want to have a place where I can do my work, but also experience life with men or entrepreneurs building this on the same journey I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's cool. I'm glad you're seeing that too, because so when the sign goes up on the outside of the building in a few weeks, there will be a massive word build, because that's the name of this place. It's who we are. It's what we do there. And underneath it, it will say life and work, because that's the whole point, is that it's a place where people can build their life and their work in alignment. And like I was saying, right? It's a place to work out. It's a place to recover. It's a place to sit in the sauna. It's a place to go gather your team, or to have a networking event in the gathering space. It's a place to get together and watch the sporting event or whatever it might be. And it's also a way for me to continue to serve people by helping them see themselves as more powerful leaders, and have that as a part of the membership is my interaction and influence. And then there's this like collective portion of it where every month we all get together, and you have to be there or assign someone from your team to be there. Like, it's not going to be like if you can make it come. It's very much like a part of the agreement you're making when you're a member there, that you will be in attendance and come to provide value and receive value. So yeah, hopefully that's painting a little bit more of the picture of what this space is going to be. And there's a something that I've really been holding on to is that this is not as much about, well, here, I wrote it down. I can read it, and that way I won't butcher it. It hasn't internalized into my mind yet because it's kind of newer, but this place will be known not just for what happens inside the building, but for the caliber of leaders it produces. And at the end of the day, like that's who I am and what I'm about is building leaders. And that's what this place will be known for, is not just like the space itself and the vibe. It'll be known for the caliber of leaders that it produces.
Well, I love that idea that you'll have work and life on there. And for anyone that, if you're listening and you know me and Matt, like I think we really view life is better when your work and life coexist, not when you have to constantly separate them. And I'm there's still a place for like drawing some boundaries and having family time and things like that. And back to your point of like the people who are miserable every day and just looking for, can't wait to clock out so I can get away from this for 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours, or the weekend. So yeah, creating a space where you can do work and life together and build that in a way that creates harmony. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for our listener, look back through your life. What are the stories? What are the lessons? What can be culminated from those experiences? Like, what's the peak that you're on right now? You have a choice to decide what that is. You can,
Look, go grab them and stack them up, like whatever they are, good, bad, failure, whatever. Stop labeling them that way and just go get them and stack them up, and then put yourself on top of them and be like, that's a culmination, right? Like today is the day that I'm standing on top of all those to create from the future what I want.
Yeah. Write them down. Make a list of those things. Say what, because of what's happened, what can I do now powerfully because of these experiences that no one else can? Yeah. And you'll find some awesome answers if you look back through that lens.
Yeah. Leaders create with what's in front of them. And what we're inviting you to consider now is like on top of what's happened to you or what has happened in the past. And that's a powerful thing. You have a choice. You always have a choice.
Awesome. Well, great insights, Matt. Thanks for sharing what you're working on, and be excited to talk about that more as that creation happens pretty quickly, it sounds like. So
yep.
Awesome. To our listener, today's the day.
Thanks for joining us on the Everyday Leader podcast. If you're ready to take your leadership journey even further, subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more insights and practical tips. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram to stay a part of our growing community. Just follow the links in the show notes. If this episode impacted you, please help us spread the word and share the link with a friend from wherever you're listening.